How would you create an 8-figure portfolio by 2030 if you had $500 a month to invest? Well, folks, that's what we're going to be going over today. I've got some incredible ideas of my own, and I've also been plugging some of these questions into ChatGPT, and really interested in sharing with you guys a few of the answers that it has kicked out. Some of what ChatGPT says it would do to create an 8-figure portfolio with $500 a month to invest by 2030 might surprise you. We're not 100% all the way into the new series. Hopefully we'll be ready by next week, but we are going to go over it a little bit today. And we're also going to go into a couple of microcap gems. So hope you guys are all having a fantastic Wednesday. And I want to run over to the chat here real quick and say good morning to all of you that are here. For those of you that, if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. My name is Brad Varnell. This is the Infinite Crypto YouTube channel, and we are super happy to have you. Please feel free to comment, ask questions, and engage in the chat, man. We love it when you guys are in the chat asking questions and engaging. And please hit that like button if you haven't already. It would be very much appreciated. We got Mr. Dave P in the house as always. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you are doing fantastic. Vanish, good morning, Vanish. Mr. Donnie T, Young Buck Crypto, Z-Dog. Good morning, Z-Dog. Congratulations on winning the Tansy tokens yesterday. I think that that could be a good little hold, depending on what you decide you want to do with them. Mr. Tulsa King, how you doing? Where's oh, that's right, it's next month, right? I haven't looked at it for a while, but we got some new Tulsa Kings coming out. Looking forward to that. I keep running out of TV shows, guys. I was watching this television show called The Waterfront. I was getting into it. 8 episodes in the first season. Dude, it ended on a cliffhanger. And then I go Google, like, when is Waterfront season 2 coming out? And it got canceled. And it's kind of crazy. Like, I thought it was a super good show. And I thought that a lot of people were watching it. And supposedly Netflix said that it had high viewership, but it didn't have as high of a number of people finishing the whole season as it preferred. So they decided to put the kibosh on it. There's not going to be a season 2. That was super frustrating. I've got a few television shows like that where I'm kind of waiting for season 2. Let me see here. Mr. Daniel Prosper, good morning. Hope you are doing good. Fantastic to see you here. Justin Moen. Hope all of you guys are doing fantastic. I'm not sure if you remember, guys, but about a month ago, what was I trying to say? Oh, about a month ago, I was introduced to a coin called Texit coin. And I, was doing some due diligence on it. And I asked you guys to take a look at this token. And I don't know if any of you did. I know that nobody in particular got in touch with me and gave me their ideas on it. But, yesterday they had a couple of YouTube videos. And I was sending some people to watch these YouTube videos. And like, I got a response here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but my friend here says, I've been mining for about 3 months now, and it's tripled in price. And I almost have my investment back. So with the Texit coin, you can either buy the token straight up on an exchange at about $3 a token. But as you can see here, it's up 73% in the last month. Even just in the last 7 days, it's up about 37%, which is great. So you can buy it on the open market. You can buy it here. It doesn't show it on here, but you can buy it on Bitmart. You can also buy it on Dex Trader. And I would recommend not financial advice, but I would recommend if you like Texit Coin and what they're doing, I would recommend potentially buying some of the tokens for sure. But what I got excited about was mining. So if you buy a miner, it's about $1,000 to buy a miner, but that miner will spit off tokens every single day. So I'm in a position now where they had a promotion where if you get 9 miners, you get 2 free. So I have 11 miners now that are mining Texit Coin for me every day. It kind of reminds me of Bitcoin back near its beginning. You can see here it's sitting at $152 million market cap. And so I'm pretty excited about this, and I like the mining aspect because I can set it and forget it. But the other thing that I like about the miners is that you actually have the ability to share your link with other people that you know. And if they come in and get miners, you can earn more mining hash. You can actually earn a little bit of cash. And so it's a really cool, word of mouth marketing program that they have. They do a lot of other marketing too. They're in, because this coin was kind of created in Texas, they're in the big Texas airports. They've got big billboards and big signs. Recently, during the Bitcoin convention here in Las Vegas, they had a great big huge billboard truck that was driving up and down the Las Vegas Boulevard. They were doing some advertising at the actual Bitcoin convention. So for those of you that I know well enough to actually like send personal messages to, don't be surprised if you get a message from me about the Texit Coin. On that note, guys, if you ever do receive a message from me, it's probably going to be because we know each other. I have your phone number. So if you're on Telegram, I'm probably not going to just DM you cold. So be very, very careful. The reason I talk about that is scammers. And I figure by mentioning this live, you guys, all of a sudden on Telegram, you guys might start getting, scammers, but you have to be super careful. Let me show you guys something here on Telegram. It's kind of crazy. So my screen name is at Brad V7007 on here. So if you go to Telegram and you type in at Brad V 7, so you can see right here, there's a scammer, Brad V7001. And let me show you something else that they've done. If you go here and instead of typing in zeros, if you type in uppercase O's, not lowercase, uppercase. Well, here's one with lowercase, but you can see this one here. This is not me. This is not me. So you have to be very, very careful of scammers. So you can see this one finally deleted their account, but this is another one that really, really tried hard to clone me. So my screen name is at Brad V7007. And that's the only legit one that there is. So if we're connected on Telegram, it's always a good idea to message me, even if it's just to say, hey, Brad, I really enjoy your YouTube channel, and I heard you talking about Texit Coin, or I heard you talking about Infinite Agape, and, I just wanted to be connected, because once we're connected, we're connected. So, for instance, Vanish is here. Vanish and I have had several different conversations. So Vanish, if for some reason Vanish gets a cold DM for me, and it's the very first time he's ever talked to me, well, then he knows it's not legit, because Vanish can go to our chat history and Vanish can see that him and I have conversations. You know, so it's obvious to Vanish if somebody that's trying to imitate me DMs him, it's obvious that it ain't me. So I highly recommend, if you're on Telegram and you have any desire to, you know, get talked to about Infinite Agape, to maybe get some more information about Texit Coin, shoot me a DM and just start a conversation. That way you will always know whether you're talking to me or not. So let me see here. Yeah, definitely. That will really help stay connected. That's the best way to not get scammed. I definitely agree. If you have history talking with me, then it's pretty hard for somebody to come in, because if they do, the fact that there's no conversation there makes it pretty obvious. So what is it about this Texit coin that I like? Well, there's a couple of different things, guys. I like the idea of creating passive income. I really enjoy the ability to mine the tokens. I don't have it sitting up here right now, but I literally have a dashboard. They take care of all of the mining, so I didn't have to download any software onto my computer. I don't have to use up any of my hash power. I don't have to use up any of my computational power from my computer. They do all of the miners. I've got a back office that I can log into that shows all of the statistics, that shows all of the numbers. And every day at around, I guess it's about 5 p.m. my time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, the tokens show up in my private wallet. I've got a cold storage wallet, and it also shows up in my back office. The numbers show up, so I know how many tokens are getting added to my cold storage wallet every single day. If I want to sell those tokens, I just send them out, and I can sell them on, like I mentioned here, on Bitmart, or Dex Trader is better for decentralized places. Better, not an exchange. I can literally sell the tokens, turn it into USDC, send that over to my Coinbase account and out to my bank account. So it literally, at this point, it's creating about $50 a day in passive income for me, about $1,500 a month in income by having these miners. So I would love to, see, like Lad Lewis says, he's getting, lots of friend requests from Brad 007. See, so they'll do little stuff like that. They'll take off a zero, or they'll turn the zeros into O's. A lot of different things that they do to try to clone me, and that's happening on Discord. No mining of the Tansy token that I know of, Daniel. Tansy token was minted, and the only way to get the Tansy token is just to buy it. So with Texit Coin, I highly recommend, if you go take a look at this, one of the things, it doesn't show it here, but it's showing on May 19th of 2025 that it was $1. And now here it is, at the end of August, and it's $3. So it's almost tripled. But this token started off last year, like say October of last year, it down at around 2 or 3 cents. So they were mentioning on one of these YouTube videos yesterday that it's already 100x'd, but it's still got a long ways to go. I've sent some of my friends the road to 16, showing why I think this is going to be a minimum of a $16 token. And that's another reason that I want to mine it. Like right now I'm mining these tokens and they have a $3 value. So far, I'm just letting these tokens accrue. I haven't sent any out and sold them. I'm going to be doing that live here on a video very soon, just to prove that it's possible, because what some people are telling me is like, hey, I'm a little nervous to go buy one of these miners until I know for sure that there's liquidity, until I know that I can actually take the tokens that I'm getting and go sell them and turn them into real money. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing is doing some videos on the Texit coin. I'm going to be interviewing the founder and the owner of the company, Bobby Gray. I'm going to be doing some videos of my own on this project. So you're going to definitely hear more about this project. But while you're here on their website, if you want to learn more about them, go to Texitcoin, and you can really do a pretty big deep dive on this project. There's a couple of short little videos here that you can watch that are just a few minutes long, and you can really take a closer look. One of the cool things about this is it halves, similar to Bitcoin. So every 4 or 5 years, the number of tokens that it generates halves. And so that's also incredible for a price, similar to the way the Bitcoin halving always tends to have a big influx on its price. These miners mine for about 135 years too. So this is literally, if you own a miner, you're obviously, I'm not going to be around for 135 years, but this is something that these miners that I own are going to be producing tokens for 135 years. So I'll be able to pass these tokens on to my kids. And if this is one of the projects like a Bitcoin that is here in 10, 20, 30 years, imagine what those tokens are going to be like. Bitcoin is 15, 16, 17 years old now. Started off at pennies and now is over $100,000 a token. I'm not saying that that's going to happen with Texitcoin, but it is in the realm of possibility. How awesome would it be to have been able to buy a Bitcoin miner, back in 2010, that's still producing Bitcoin today, even if it was only producing, 100th of a Bitcoin a day, even if it was only producing 1,000th of a Bitcoin a day today. How awesome would it be? I've got 11 of them right now, and I'm probably going to end up with somewhere in the ballpark of 50 to 100. Can you imagine having these tokens just getting spit off to you every single day? We talk about, like, how do you survive during a bear market? Well, having some income producing assets can definitely help. Now, I don't know that this token is going to maintain all-time highs if we start to go into a significant downtrend in the market. That's not what I'm saying. But what I would do, if this thing, like, say that the price starts to tank and it goes down to, back down to 50 cents during the bear market, well, I would just let those tokens accumulate day after day after day after day after day after day after day for the next 3 or 4 years until the next bull market. Like, I know that a lot of people also, like, you have trouble finding cash. Like, how do I invest this? Like, even on this $500 a month to earn a 5 or an 8-figure portfolio, where do I come up with the $500 a month? Where do I come up with the $1,000 a month? Well, that's one of the things that you can do to alleviate some of those problems. Is if you buy something like this, you buy one of the miners, you literally are accumulating tokens for the next 4 or 5 years. What is this token going to be worth in 5 years? I don't know. But the founder of the company has laid out a pretty significantly solid looking plan to get to 16 and then to 100. And from there, it's anybody's guess. Anyways, I'm not gonna talk about this anymore. But if I've messaged you personally, then it's because I think that you, A, would be interested in something like this, and B, that you have the means to buy it. The miners are $1,000. So I know there's a lot of people on the channel here that are priced out that can't get a miner. And for those of you that can't buy a miner for $1,000, go buy tokens. You can buy 1 token, 2 tokens, 5 tokens, or you can buy, $100 worth of tokens, whatever you want. But for those of you that have the means and have the ability, like they have a promotion going on right now. If you buy 5 miners, you get 1 free. If you buy 9 miners, you get 2 free. So for those of you that have money and are looking to invest on a bigger scale, let's get in touch. DM me on Twitter, Telegram, Facebook, wherever you know me from. Get in touch with me, and we'll help you get set up. With that, I want to say we've got a question here. What do you have in mind about YZY, Brad? Well, I don't have anything in mind about YZY, Brad, or Rocky, because I've never heard of it. What is YZY? YZY is a token sitting here at about 71 million. The contact creator can make changes to the token, blah, 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 blah. Let me see here. It's a Solana token. YZY is the currency that powers all transactions within YZY Money. I don't know what to do with this. Like, the website is just like black and white. I don't see where it's showing me what kind of utility it has. Like, is it just my screen here? Maybe, I don't know if I've got something going on my screen. Anyways, I have no idea what that is or why it exists. You might have to DM me, Rocky. DM me and give me a little bit more information, and maybe we can take a peek and talk about it next week. Right now, I wanted to mention a couple of things from yesterday's Trader Tuesday. Remember, we needed to get up above 111 and hold, and it looks like Bitcoin might be doing that. It's still awfully choppy, and this is showing here, if we just go to the 24-hour chart, that it's been up and down, back and forth. And Dave P says it's Kanye West coin, YZY. Well, then I wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. Then would be my answer, Rocky. Maybe I'm skewed. Maybe I'm too judgmental, but I haven't seen one of these influencer coins do anything that impressed me, especially for long term. 99.9% of them have just rug pulled and basically taken all of their followers' money. So I'm not exactly sure why that's a token that you are interested in, and why you would want to share that with the show, Rocky. Definitely seems like exactly the last thing that we would want to be talking about on this channel when we're looking for tokens that are hopefully going to have longevity. We're looking for tokens that are going to be around for 5 years, 10 years, 25 years. We want to have the ability to create generational wealth. We're looking for the Microsofts and the Amazons and the Starbucks of the cryptocurrency world. We're just trying to find them before they become the Starbucks and the Amazons and the Microsofts of the world. We want to find them. I always tell the story. I was born and raised in Seattle, Washington area. So Microsoft was founded in my own backyard. I'll never forget, in about 1991, when I was about 18, one of my buddies who was pretty well off and his parents were wealthy were buying Microsoft. And back then I was a young kid, 18 years old. I didn't know anything about anything, and I didn't even think about buying any Microsoft. But you could have bought Microsoft back, in 1991, and a couple of $1,000s worth of Microsoft bought in 1990, 1991 would have turned into a couple of millions of dollars by 2000, because Microsoft kept splitting and splitting and splitting. So if you would have bought, like 100 shares at $2 a share, it would have split and you'd have turned into 200 shares, and it split and turned into 400 shares, and it split again into 800. And it had all of these splits over the next decade because the price kept running up to $100 or more. That's one thing about crypto that I miss, or that I wish was there. Like, I wish crypto had the ability to split in the same way that some of the stocks do, because I don't know if any of you have heard of that before, but that's one way that people have really created some extreme amount of wealth. Because imagine you've bought this stock at whatever, let's call it $10. You bought it at $10. You bought 100 shares for $1,000, and now this thing rockets up to $100, and you're excited because you've 10x'd your $1,000 into $10,000. But now the stock splits, and what happens in a stock split is the amount of shares double, and then the price cuts in half. So all of a sudden, you have 200 shares of stock that are only worth $50. So you still got 10,000 in value, but now your stock is only worth $50. And the reason they do that is because there's a lot of people out there that have a hesitancy to buy a stock when it gets too high up. Like, Berkshire Hathaway, whatever, Warren Buffett's company is tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per share. It makes it hard to buy a share of it. So long story short, they would do these stock splits. But now the thing is, you've got 200 shares, and now the stock goes back up to $100, $150. So they split it again. Well, now your 200 shares doubles to 400, and the average price of the stock is only 75. And that happened multiple times in the 2000s. Well, that's why tokens like Bitcoin, where the supply cuts in half every 4 years, are amazing. And why I also like Texit coin, and why I like some of the coins that split, that spit off a gas token. Like if you own VeChain token and you hold it in the right wallet, you get a little bit of VTHO. So this is something we haven't really talked about here much on this channel. But VTHO right now is only, less than a penny. It's only 1.8 cents. So it's only 0.2 of a cent. Where VeChain, if we go to VET, VeChain is at 2.4 cents. So it's under a tenth of the value of VeChain. But if you owned, say, $100,000 worth of VeChain, you're probably getting, a few $1,000s a year in this VTHO token for nothing, just for holding VET tokens in the right wallet, in a decentralized wallet. And the thing is you can see, if you take a look at this thing has gone up. It's been, 7 years ago, this was a 4.6 cent token. So this VTHO is one that spits off gas. Another token that really never gets talked about anymore is NEO. This token back in 17 and 18 was considered one of the top tokens. You're talking, there was Bitcoin, there was Litecoin, there was Ethereum, and there was NEO. And NEO has not lived up to its potential, but it spits off a gas token. So if you own NEO and you hold it in a decentralized wallet, you're going to get a gas token. You can see this is the gas token. You get the gas token for free. The gas token is $3.41. I don't remember the exact ratio, how many NEO you have to hold in order to create one gas token a day. But one of my friends owns 5,000 of these NEO tokens, and the amount of gas that he is creating is significant, and he's just been letting it build up. Well, unfortunately, I put my foot in my mouth. My friend, unfortunately, that owns this NEO was also my business mentor and the gentleman that got me into crypto. And unfortunately, he passed away right before the bull market back in 2021. He missed that bull market. He passed away, I guess it was in about September, October of 2020, right before that bull market commenced. And unfortunately, he didn't give anybody that he loved his private keys. So this NEO wallet of his is a wallet that I've had the send to address, his receive address, for years and years, because we used to do a lot of trading back and forth back in the day. Back in 2017 and 18, I was doing a lot of transactions on the NEO blockchain. Well, anyways, every once in a while, I go back to that old email from way back in 2017, and I'll take his NEO address and I'll plug it into the Explorer. And sure enough, I can still see the 5,000 NEO sitting there. But he also, the gas that has accrued over the last handful of years, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of these gas tokens, which are worth, $3 and 41 cents. So these are different types of tokens that I really like. The trouble with NEO, and the reason that you've never, heard me talk about it as an investment, guys, is because when you see a token like this that was, look at this, this was way back January 15th of 2018. This token was almost $200. My buddy created $1 million portfolio. 5,000 times 200 is $1 million. My buddy created $1 million portfolio by buying NEO, but he was buying this down at 25 cents, 50 cents, a dollar. Like, this is a token that he literally 200-300x'd his money on. Well, what is it? At $1, it would have been a 200x. At a quarter, it would have been almost an 800x. So he was buying this token. You can see its all-time low price, October 21st of 2016. This thing was 7 cents. He started telling me about this token in about February of 2017. And so anyways, I look for opportunities, and I don't know, maybe I came onto something. Maybe we need to create a token that's got some kind of a mechanism where at certain price points it splits, and everybody that owns tokens gets twice as many tokens. Can you imagine buying 100 of a token and it gets to a certain price and it splits into 200 tokens and the price halves back, 50%. And then as it grows again, it splits, and all of a sudden your 100 tokens have split 2 or 3 times. And now you've got 1,000 tokens. That might, I don't even know if it's possible, but it sounds like a pretty cool idea. If tokens could split the same way that stocks do, I wonder how amazing that might be for a project. How much capital do you need to start investing in this space? Disagreeable. So when I started back in 2017, I was broke. I literally, was throwing 25 here, 50 there. In fact, I've told this story, and I got to be quick because today's one of those days where I got to get out of here. But I told the story back in the day. One of the reasons that I decided to jump into crypto was this crypto mentor of mine that I was just talking about. We got involved in a Ponzi scheme, unfortunately, back in 2016, and I was buying Bitcoin on the Uphold exchange, and I was sending it to this company because it was a promising like 1 or 2% a day in returns. I was a lot newer and greener to investing back then. I didn't know that it was a Ponzi. My buddy, my mentor, had been investing money with this company for 6 months. And he did that because he didn't want to share it with his friends until he knew it wasn't a Ponzi. But what he didn't realize was that they had the capital to stay in business for several months because of all of the new people coming in. So right about the time he got comfortable enough to start sharing it with people is when it went out of business. But long story short, I had some Bitcoin dust in my Uphold wallet, like $10 in my Uphold wallet. And he's calling me up and telling me, hey, Brad, go check out your Uphold and your Coinbase wallets, because if you had any Bitcoin left in those wallets, we were buying Bitcoin back when it was $500. I can say that the very first Bitcoin that I bought Bitcoin back when it was $500. Unfortunately, I was sending it to this other company and not holding it. But when I checked out my Uphold, I had like $10 worth of Bitcoin left that was now worth $250. I bought $250 worth of XRP at about a quarter, and then watched that go to $3.60 in January of 18. So now you take a quarter into 360 is what? 4, 8, 12, 14x. So what's 14 times 250? 14, 10 times is 2,500, about 3,500 we'll call it. So I literally turned that $250, that $10 into 250 on accident. And then I turned that 250 into like 3,600. And that was the beginning of my journey into cryptocurrency. And then I started taking that 3,600 and dispersing it out into other tokens. And then I started figuring out new ways to make money. So that's something else disagreeable. If you don't have a ton of money, then get resourceful, be creative, figure out a way to make more money, whether that's driving for Uber, if it's getting a second job, creating a side hustle, going to garage sales on the weekend and picking stuff up for free or close to it, and then going home, selling it on Craigslist or selling it on Facebook Marketplace. Get a job in blockchain. There's a lot of these companies that are looking for admins on Telegram and different stuff. In other words, you don't need hardly any money to get started. Obviously, depending on the amount of wealth that you want to create and how fast you want to create it, the more money you have to invest, the better. But if you're in a position where finances are tight, then figure out a way to create some extra income. If you're going out to dinner 2 or 3 or 4 times a month, tell your spouse, hey, I know it's going to suck, but for the next 6 months, I'm going to take that $50, that $100 that we've been spending out to eat, and I'm going to spend that on cryptocurrency because I believe I can 10x that $100. So if we're spending $400 a month right now eating out, we're actually spending $4,000 a month eating out. Cut back on your subscriptions. If you're here in the United States, it's crazy. You got Netflix, you got Hulu, you got Paramount, you got Disney, you got so many people are spending so much money watching TV. So I do have to get running. Man, these live streams go fast, don't they? When I got to get out of here at, like 45 after. But crazy. Some of the things that we can do. What do we got here? I'm in a similar situation. 99 cents left in my Coinbase is $400. Wow. Back when I was getting Bitcoin, it was $800 and $900. Unbelievable, man. What an incredible story. Let me see here. Can I drop a link to a video to get started if he had? Can Ahmad drop a link to a video to get started if he has one? Guys, just go to the description of this video. Just go to YouTube and check out my Real Infinite Crypto. You've got the live streams where we do the Monday Mindset, the Microcap Gems, and the Tuesday Traders. And then if you want more videos that are shorter and sweeter and more to the point on some of the tokens that I like, I've done dozens and dozens. And for some of you, you guys might find it fun to go all the way back to the very, very beginning. It's crazy how the thumbnails have changed over the years, huh? I don't know that we still got them dialed in. I think that there's still a lot of work that can be done. Look at these original thumbnails my son made me, like right here. My very first video is 9,500 to 2.2 million. Got me excited. And this is the story about what got me involved in crypto. One of my favorite, tokens before they got rid of it in the United States is a token called Nexo, Nexo. If you live outside of the United States and Nexo is a platform that you can use, I highly recommend checking it out. This one right here, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot. One of my favorite videos that I ever did here was how many Polkadot do you need to fire your boss? And I went through and talked about how many Polkadot you needed in order to earn enough Polkadot, because you can get like 12, 13, 14% on Polkadot to create a passive income. So some of these early videos were pretty good. This Metis token here, guys, this is 4 years ago. I was talking about Metis. Metis is still one of the most amazing tokens on the market. And right now, it is beaten down. You can buy Metis at $16. Its all-time high was $323. With that, folks, I do got to run. I love each and every one of you. I'm sorry that I've happened to cut out so suddenly these days, but there's some new things going on in my life, some new scheduling conflicts. That's why I mentioned last week, I'm not sure if I'm going to start the live stream earlier or if I'm going to start it later, or if I'm just going to keep dealing with having to do shorter live streams. But for today, I got to get out of here. Go take a closer look at Texit Coin. Dave P., Eric Bernstein, Justin Moen, Donnie T., some of you that, are crypto, pretty well entrenched in the crypto market. I think you might see what I saw and get excited about getting some miners of the Texit coin, and I'll be in touch with each one of you guys individually, answer your questions, and see if you like it as much as I do. But with that, folks, I love you all. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye-bye for now.